Today's guest is an environmental activist and a consumer advocate. Her name is notorious with being for the people. She's known for leading some high-profile cases over the years. Lately, she's focused on the rise of data centers and their effects on life around them. I'm thankful today to spend time with Miss Erin Brockovich. If you need to move this, Erin, you can. Let me open your water. Sometimes these are very...
I've learned that over at the hotel. I was like, my Lord. And I work out. I was like, I can't get it open.
That's the crazy thing about today, especially honestly with this Essentia company. I just opened it for you, but you can't even get in their waters. It's like that's how bad it's gotten that they almost keep you locked out of clean water in this country.
Yeah, that's why my daughter will carry a knife. Boom, she'll go just like that.
She's like that?
Oh, yeah. She's military police. She's hilarious.
Oh, she's an MP?
She was, yes. They're both out now.
Both
Matt
your
was a
children?
combat vet, yeah.
Your son was combat?
Yeah. My dad was Navy fighter pilot. So definitely I'm a military mom and a military daughter.
Oh, that's beautiful. Mm-hmm. We'll thank them for their service from us. And thank you for your service. I know you, as probably most of people, a lot of people do. I know you as an environmentalist, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of a truth seeker, I guess I would say, and like an activist, I guess. How do you like to be?
Yeah, I never say activist because that's always like a connotation. I advocate for clearly people.
What about the term like a consumer advocate? Is that fair to say, kind of?
A people advocate.
Okay, a people advocate. Me too. I feel like I try my best to be.
I do too.
Yeah. And for our listeners that don't know, how did you get on this track, right? Like, take me through your journey. You know, I know about the movie starring Julia Roberts that was made about your life, Erin Brockovich. But take us into the journey of like what happened to create the story that led to the film. Like, how did your activism like lead to one of the largest settlements at the time that had ever been? I think it was like over $300 million.
$333 million.
$333 million that was awarded
at the time.
At the time. Is it
now
more?
They're settling for like $33 billion.
Hey.
It's not to laugh at, but
hey,
times have changed.
Hey, dude, Erin walked to the bank so they could run to it. That's for sure. Yeah. So I want you to take us through that journey for our listeners that don't know. Obviously, you had to care for the outdoors. How did that start?
Okay, well, I've always been an outdoor enthusiast. I was born and raised in Kansas, and I love the outdoors. Everything about it spoke to me. Mostly because I hated school. I sucked at school. And it took years before they really understood I have dyslexia.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Let's go do. My friend has it.
I'm a dyslexic.
Hell
and
yeah.
So,
dude, you guys don't get any credit.
I know.
And you probably should, and some of you shouldn't. But a lot of you guys should, dude.
So you should. You know, interestingly enough, off topic, and I'll just say it really quick. So I'm ambassador for Made by Dyslexia, run by Kate Griggs and Sir Richard Branson, who's also a dyslexic.
No way.
Yeah.
Dude, we got to get a good dyslexic on here.
You do, and they're everywhere.
I know, dude. Half of my friends are like, they can't even complete a handshake. They're just not doing good. You know, it's like...
We just like code differently. We have pattern recognition. But I didn't even know until I became ambassador for Made by Dyslexia that there's 1 billion dyslexics on the planet.
No.
1 billion.
1 billion Ds in this world? That's crazy. Let me see.
Right?
A billion? Nuh-uh. I'm saying that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I got to learn a little bit more about this. So take me through, you know, your journey or experience as like a human advocate, like as a environmentalist, you know. Can you just take us through that so that for our listeners that don't know?
So I have to say, I think I was as surprised as anybody else. Honestly, so how it happened was, as I grew up in Kansas, went to school at Kansas State, then I went to a design school in Texas, and then I moved to California. I ended up being a regional manager for Kmart.
Oh, yeah,
And
dude.
I wasn't my favorite job. And then I ended up working at Fluor Engineers and Constructors. So I was raised by an engineer. It was kind of fun for me. I like to create things, et cetera, even though everybody always told me I couldn't do anything, with the dyslexia.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I always pushed against that. So I'm one that pushes against these things.
So out of the gate, that dyslexia might have gave you that edge, like, I can still do
It did. I was
show
born. You don't put me in a box because I will get out and I will kick and scream the whole way there. So
Amen.
that's one of my traits. I'm like, no, I don't. None of us like it. I don't like being labeled. I don't like being judged. I don't like being put in a box.
Some of us like mimes like it.
I'm like, f off.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
that's just
mimes.
my motto. So, but I don't
Wait,
like the
what's your
squeak.
motto?
Fuck off.
Yeah, that's a good motto.
Fuck it. Fuck you. Fuck off.
Dude, that's the best motto. That should become our national anthem in this fucking country, to be honest with you. Okay.
So, but I'm an F dropper bomb, so I hope that doesn't offend anybody.
Yeah, we'll pick them up at the end of the show. Okay, so you got the dyslexia, you got the spirit, you got what you need.
That's right. So I go through all this process. I end up getting married. That was the biggest mistake of my life, 3 times over, and had children and got in a car wreck in Reno, Nevada, and moved down to California, met an attorney by the name of Jim Vitito, who was Ed Masry's partner. So Ed Masry was the attorney in the film. And we had a trial, and I lost. The jury told me to get a job.
You had a trial for what? Oh, for the auto accident?
For the auto accident.
Okay, got it.
And we lost. And of course, the lawyers told me we're going to win all kinds of money and make this right by you, Erin. That did not happen. So I went back to Ed Masry and I said, you promised me things would be okay, and they weren't, and I need a job.
Yeah.
So Ed gave me a job. So in the beginning of the film, Erin Brockovich, you'll see her doing all these interviews. And of course, I'd been a single mom and I was turned down for every job. But I had Ed cornered. You promised me something.
Pay up,
and
Eddie.
I showed up.
Pay up, Eddie.
It's that power of stick-to-itiveness that I talk about.
When you show up, things are different.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, that's something, and we'll get into that in a minute. I don't want to jump ahead of it, but that's what's going on right now out in this country. People are showing up.
Amen.
And I love it because I'm watching it. We all are, especially with the data centers. We're united, bipartisan. And when we get united, we change things.
Things can happen.
And I love it.
Amen.
And
I love that.
That's what happened. I showed up with Ed. I ended up getting a job. Starting in the workers' compensation department. I like people. I'm a people person. I'm a chatty person. I want to know about you, what's going on in your life. That seems odd. So I was a perfect fit in the workers' compensation department. So one day, Ed came into the office, just like you see in the film, with a big archive box of files.
Got it. And the movie's Erin Brockovich. For people that haven't seen it, you can go watch it. It's
Starring Julia Roberts.
starring Julia Roberts.
And Albert Finney.
And Albert Finney. Oh,
Yes.
great actors.
Known for her great push-up bra.
Yeah, I'd hold them in place. You know what I'm saying? No, I mean,
So
I'd donate my hands to Haynes or whoever made that thing and let them just, I'd be the wiring in that thing, baby. Anyway, let's move
I had
on.
to giggle when the film came out. I'm like, that's what you got out of the film was the push-up bra, not what happened to the people.
Well,
So
you got to bait and you got to get them on the hook.
you do. So
Okay.
they were on the hook. But
So you're working in workman's comp?
so I was working in workers' comp, and then Ed brought a box into me that was a PI case, a personal injury case. And he said, do you know how to open a personal injury file? I had not a clue what I was doing, but I said, sure, I know how to open it. So when I started to go through the file, I'm like, okay, so I've now put myself out here. I don't know what I'm doing. I better learn what I'm doing.
Got it.
I started reading the files. Inside this file box were medical records.
Okay, and it's just one of the files that's in the box?
Yeah, it was just everything about a personal injury case was thrown in a box. And what kind of made me go, well, that's odd, is there were real estate records in there. I'm like, why are real estate records and medical files in the same box?
Yeah.
And the reason for that was, to jump ahead, and I'll go right back, unbeknownst to me at the time, Pacific Gas and Electric was a utility company trying to buy Roberta Walker's property.
Okay, and Roberta Walker was one of the
plaintiffs.
Right. Got it.
And so she had contacted Ed because PG&E was trying to buy her house. And so she just threw everything into a box. As a matter of fact, Roberta kept everything in a suitcase. So it all just got thrown in a box. So I like a challenge. So I'm pulling everything out of the box, making my little piles. But I was curious about the medical records because they were of children. And everything was done in a bar graph. So all their T cells were off. Their white cells were off. Their red counts were too high. Now, I'm a mom, and I'm thinking to myself, God, if I saw blood tests like this on my kids, what the fuck is this?
You'll be spooked.
Yeah. And so I started researching it more, and it was leading me to cancer and diseases. So I asked Ed if I could go out to Hinckley, California, which he was thrilled to let me go. Nobody in the office liked me. I annoyed everybody. My skirts were too short. My attitude sucked. Yeah. My bras were showing, and nobody wanted me around. So Ed was like, score, get out of here and go.
That's classic.
So off I went to Hinckley, California.
And the reason why, so just to get a little bit clearer, so in this box, this woman had hired the attorney for what purpose?
To settle a real estate claim.
Okay. So that's why the initial hiring was there. Right. But then there was all these other records in there. Why was Pacific and Gas trying to buy her house?
Because Roberta was onto something, and they had water issues, and PG&E was holding these town hall meetings trying to convince everybody that there was nothing wrong with the water. Now, I'll tell you something I've learned ever since I began Hinckley. You piss off one mom, and you pissed off Roberta, and they've got great instincts, and they think you're lying to them, they're going to go find 10 other fucking pissed off moms, and they're going to actually use these instincts, and they will come at you. And so these moms were getting upset.
Hell yeah.
And they knew it was just that moment.
It's time for moms to get upset.
Oh, yeah. And they've got this hunch, this instinct, this intuition, and they make it their job to find out because you've harmed their child.
Yeah.
And they don't believe you. And so that was the first clue for me, even in the files, talking to Roberta on the phone before I ever met her. Something was going on. And I have learned I always listen and believe the people. And people will show up, but somebody else tells them. And when I first even started my work in Hinckley, I was getting you're not a doctor. You're not a lawyer. You're not a scientist. You're not a politician.
Yeah.
So what do you do, and why are you here, and why should we believe you? And I had a moment where I was gobsmacked. I'm like, it never dawned on me that I had to be any of that.
Right. All you have to be really is just a curious baddie.
Absolutely. And to be a human and to tell you those two-headed frogs and the green water coming out of your tap is fucked up, and I'm not leaving. That's what happened.
Yeah. I'm not leaving until these frogs have one head again.
That's right. So if y'all think that's normal, I'm sorry. You call me crazy.
There's so much of that gaslighting. Like, you see that all the time, even just about podcasters talking with people. They're like, you're not a politician. You're not like a sciencer. You're not a astronomer.
Stop talking.
Whatever. Yeah.
Because you're none of those.
And I'm like, bitch, but I'm fucking curious and I'm fucking loud.
That's right.
How about that?
Absolutely. And you know what? Curiosity is a good thing.
Yeah.
It can oftentimes get you in trouble. But sometimes it's quite surprising where it might lead you.
Well, it's not, things should be fair. But I think if things are fair, people can operate from a place of comfort, of peace, and a place that gives them more autonomy.
Yeah.
If things are fair, I know that there's going to be setbacks in life, and some people aren't going to have the same advantages, and people are going to have disadvantages and stuff like that, and some people are going to be born in a less circumstances. But overall, if you could, I don't know. And I guess things are never fair, but it's like, I don't know. That's something I think that a lot of people try and fight for is things should be fair. You should be able to raise your kids in a healthy enough environment, you know?
That's a great word, fair. And in Hinckley, what I have learned over 30 years is people and communities always handle the truth. They won't handle the lie. That lie is unfair. And when they're not told the truth, it's unfair that they have to suck up the consequences of that lie. So fair is an interesting word. And they were being treated unfairly.
So, yeah, well, there's a lot of transparency issues now, and we're going to get into some of that in a bit. But all right, so you get out to Hinckley, California, and what's popping out there?
So all the trees are dying. I'm out there. First of all, when I'm boots on the ground, and that's what I like to do. I'm out there generally barefoot. I feel things. I connect to nature. And the moment I was there, I could feel something was wrong. You can just feel it. We're energy. Water's energy. An environment that's damaged, it's energy.
Yeah.
But the trees were dead. The cows were covered in tumors. People were reporting really bizarre things to me. They themselves had, these chronic headaches, skin rashes, constant nosebleeds.
Yeah.
The fish had, tumors on their body. The frogs had 2 heads, and the water was green.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
The frogs had 2 heads.
2 heads.
Bring up one of them. Well, 2 of them.
You got a 2-headed frog on there?
Yeah. Hey, you want to see this 2-headed frog? That's a lot of pedophiles used to have stuff like that. You're like, oh, hold on.
You can see, so there's other chemicals that can cause frogs to have 2 heads.
Oh my God, look at the second one. That one is...
They had 2 heads.
That one has dyslexia. Look at that one. Look at the green one.
Well, I could believe that because definitely, I've been told before, you have 2 heads.
Sorry to laugh at my own joke, but I thought that was...
2 different brains colliding together.
That was pretty good, I thought, based on the looks of that one. If you can't
But it was stunning. And
Right.
I'm from Kansas. I don't see this shit in Kansas.
Right. Well, that's probably because the nature was a little bit more like, if you're heading out to California, it's a place where there's a lot more probably industry going on and things could be a little bit more damaged, but in Kansas, you're probably coming from a purer environment, I'm guessing.
Was.
And also, dude, I remember a time in our town, like people couldn't whistle for like 2 months or something. And maybe it was something in the air or something was going on. We had a long, what's it called when the moon and the sun cross each other?
Eclipse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had an eclipse one time. I swear that thing lasted probably 3 days over there and people couldn't whistle. You couldn't hail a taxi for probably, for half a week over there.
Well, I've been down in Louisiana. I spent 8 weeks down there down in the bayou with the whole BP oil spill.
Oh, did you really? We'll get into some of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get out to Hinckley, you're seeing all these things going on.
By the time I finally got Ed to go out there with me, he did not know who PG&E was. So we're driving along. He goes, okay, so kid, let's go over this. And I've seen all the stuff you've brought back. PG&E is a water utility. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. I go, Ed, I'm from Kansas, and I know who PG&E is. They're a ginormous utility. He's like, what? So that's how the whole thing began. And so it was through my record search at the water board. That's when I started discovering in writing reports that the area was contaminated with a chemical known as hexavalent chromium.
Wow. Bring it up. Let me see it right there. Hinckley groundwater contamination. PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric, used chromium-6 or hexavalent chromium, a cheap and efficient rust suppressor.
Correct.
In its compressor station for natural gas transmission pipelines. Hexavalent chromium compounds are genotoxic carcinogens. What does that mean, genotoxic?
And they're mutagenic. They can affect the genes.
And they can be passed on?
Correct.
Oh, my gosh.
And you can see trisomy 7 and different diseases like that in the children. See, and I was seeing a pattern of nasal pharyngeal cancer, throat cancer, lung cancer, kidney cancer.
Got it.
So as I started, at this point, getting a year into it, Ed can clearly see what's going on. Now, what had happened with PG&E was, again, as I said earlier, they were holding like these town hall meetings, and they were telling everybody, and again, Talk about unfair.
Mm-hmm.
They were telling everybody that it was chromium in their water, which is a natural element, and it's good for you. You can find it in your breakfast cereal.
Wow.
They weren't telling him that it was hexavalent chromium and it was a poison.
Damn.
And so as all this data started getting put together, and I put together I call a hot doc book.
Mm-hmm.
So as a dyslexic, I'm here and I don't take numbers in the environment like 5 ppm and calculate forward. I always calculate backwards. And I needed to go find those higher numbers in time to prove what they had been exposed to over 20, 30 years.
Wow.
So as I started getting into my record searches, I create these hot doc books, which is like almost a trial notebook, which I'm just doing instinctually because I'm just trying to put the pieces together
to make
myself.
sense to you.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And by doing that, you're putting together a great case.
Yeah, unbeknownst to me.
Got it.
And,
Understood.
I was just out there every day of my life was like, nah, this doesn't make sense to me. And this was a huge cover up. And this is where I've said, people would have dealt with the truth. Hey, we need to get you out of here. We're poisoning you. But it was the lie that becomes so insidious that you just drag them through that. But once Ed realized this was a lawsuit, he had to go hire a couple more attorneys because he was about broke borrowing money against his house to keep things going.
Wow. So he started to believe in it that much.
That much.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he found 2 other law firms. That was Engstrom, Lipscomb, and Lack was the head attorneys there. And we had a lawsuit. And we had 634 plaintiffs. And it was filed as a direct action, not a class action. Because in a direct action, everybody's damages were different. Some people were closer to the PG&E facility where they had higher readings in their wells. Some were further away where we couldn't prove that the plume had gone through yet. So we filed a direct action.
And just to go back real quick, the hexavalent chromium, what was it in there? It was in there to prevent rust from the pipes from rusting?
It's an anti-rust inhibitor.
Understood.
So
Okay.
it was a gas compressor facility. So actually there was other cases that I went and backtracked and found later. But from Topac, California, they're pushing and pulling natural gas out of Texas.
Understood.
And then it would go from Topac, California to Barstow. And then in Barstow, it would get pushed and pulled up to Kettleman. And so think of it like the engine of your car. And these facilities are big, huge piston engines pushing and pulling this gas through. And so they have to run water through the system so it doesn't cease to operate.
Wow.
And these chemicals have, like chromium-6 is an anti-rust inhibitor because if you don't have it, rust will corrode the pipes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they would take all the used water through the system and dump it into unlined ponds.
So it goes right back into the soil.
Right back into the aquifer.
Right back into where? In the what?
Aquifer, the water zone.
Yeah. And now I see how the data centers came on your radar because that's sort of the same thing. They're using this. There's a similar thing that kind of happens is they use so much water to cool off what's going on. So now I kind of correlate like, okay, this makes perfect sense. Why her involvement?
There's a whole lot of things about data centers, and I know we'll get there. I'll stay on your pace.
Yep.
That set me off, and that was one of them.
Yeah, and we will. We're almost to data centers. But what was one of the toughest parts about going after a company that big? Like, did you start to get scared? Did you personally get scared? Was there times you were laying in bed at night and be like, somebody might try to take you out? Like, how heavy did it get, really?
People brought that up, and I didn't kind of go there until one day. I was stealing toxic hazardous waste offsite.
You were stealing it?
Yeah.
Oh, you were pulling up somewhere that had it.
Oh, I'm a bad guy. I'm stealing the toxic hazardous waste. Okay.
So just to have evidence.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, so I'm sorry I stole your 2-headed frog and a bunch of green fucking soil. Sue me. So PG&E called the cops, and I was going to get arrested. I'm standing with my two-headed frog and my little file, my little, what do you call it, igloo, because I knew to keep things cool. I had my chain of custody, writing everything down.
You really had one in an igloo?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm like, you're arresting me? I said, can I at least call my attorney? So I called Ed. And Ed goes, wait a minute, you're going to arrest her for what? And they're telling him, he goes, you know what?
Let him.
Do it. And I'm going, what the fuck?
Then it's on file.
What the fuck, Ed? Anyway, he said, you do it. You do it because it's going to be headline news. That I want you to arrest this girl for what? Stealing two-headed frogs from a polluted site? Do it. And they let me go. And I called Ed and I'm like, were you really going to have me arrested? He goes, oh, hell yeah, I would have had you out in 5 minutes. So, kiddo, don't worry about it. I was like,
wow.
God.
What a journey.
So.
And how did he work afterwards with the plaintiffs? So the plaintiffs, there was over $330 million awarded, and that was divided up between the different families at certain amounts, et cetera?
Yeah, so done as a direct action. So people who live way out from a plume boundary received awards for fear of cancer versus the people that lived there 35 years right next to the facility that were exposed to high levels that had cancer.
Wow.
And so the judges made all those rulings based on the facts surrounding their particular case.
Oh, wow. That's pretty amazing. What a journey, huh? Did you know at the time that it was going to become such a big thing? You had no idea?
No.
Wow.
None. It was just one of those moments for me that it just didn't make sense to me. And it just wasn't right. And I felt bad for the people. And listen, they became my family. I mean, half of the group up there helped potty train my youngest daughter, Elizabeth.
Oh.
And I loved them. And it just didn't make sense.
Yeah. I've lived around a bad rooster. And it can be a lot. The rooster's, his brain isn't organized with the sun or whatever. And he'll be doing at dang 3 a.m. or whatever. You're up making eggs. You don't, you're 5 hours early to work. If you're a rooster that just does its own thang-a-lang, baby, that's a power move. And checking out Morgan & Morgan, that's a power move also. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. They've got over 100 offices all across the country and more than 1,000 lawyers working for their clients. They've recovered over $30 billion from more than 500,000 clients. That's not a typo. 30 billion. That's a lot, baby. That'll make that rooster pop, homie. These guys go to bat for people. That's what Morgan & Morgan does. If somebody else's negligence got you hurt, you deserve to be paid for that. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win for you. Go to forthepeople.com or dial #law. That's pound 529 from your cell phone. Again, that's forthepeople.com/THEO or #law, pound 529. This is a paid advertisement. Are you struggling to keep your website and digital marketing up to date while running your business? Now you can relax and binge on unlimited web design services with Modify. Enjoy unlimited support, a quick turnaround, and your own designated designer. Modify has done my website for years, and they're incredible. Sign up with Modify today. They make life easier and business better. Visit modify.com/Theo. That's modiphy.com/THEO for 50% off. The last website you'll ever need. That's modify.com/Theo. I think a lot of us are in that place right now where it's like, yes, some things that just doesn't make sense. And what do we do? And how do we do it?
Well, and Roberta faced that. And I will share with you, in every environmental case that I work with, it generally is a mom that knows something's up but isn't sure what's up. But what frustrates these mothers is when they do show up, whether it be somebody at the state or a politician or a leader that they need information from our city council, they're suppressed. They get the, oh, you're a hysterical mother. There's nothing really going on. And so they retreat and they feel defeated. So that suppression is something that happens at the very beginning. And then when that mom gets another mom, then they're like, I don't try to suppress me because I know something's wrong. And again, we're going to go back to, I don't have to have the degree or be qualified to sit on your city council board, and I'm an idiot that they come back in armed with information.
Let's go.
And so that's generally what I do. They're usually right, but I can go find stuff that I can arm them with. Here's what you need. Here's what's going on. This is what's a fact. And then they join forces with the other mothers and they become unbelievably formidable.
Do you believe that mothers still have as much power now as they did like at the time like of when this story started for you?
Yes. I've seen it throughout in Flint, Michigan, the whole lead crisis, even down the BP oil spill. I'm scared of some of those mothers. I'm like, Ed would you say, you go in there and talk to her. I'm like, no, that one scares me. You go in there and talk to her because they know and they don't want to hear it anymore.
You get a swamp mama down there that gets upset.
But I'm seeing them come back, and I'm going to jump ahead and then I'll stop just so you'll have it in your memory too. They're the ones showing up on the data centers.
Well, one of the things that put you on my radar, I mean, obviously I knew of you, but what put you on my radar was you wrote an article. It was like, if data centers aren't so bad, why are they building them in secrecy, I think?
Correct. Everything begins with that secret, even Hinckley, California.
Amen. Well, what hit me about it, if data centers are so great, why are they being built in secret?
Yeah, that was in Substack, the Brockovich report.
And you talked about the biggest one, which is built in Louisiana. In the flatlands, it says right here, in the flatlands of Northeast Louisiana, known for soybean fields and dense clusters of river cane, Meta is building a 4 million square foot AI campus called Hyperion. When finished, it will consume more electricity than the entire city of New Orleans and cover a footprint the size of Lower Manhattan. And then it says here, Meta's investment establishes the region as an anchor in Louisiana's rapidly expanding tech sector, revitalizes one of our state's beautiful rural areas, and creates opportunities for Louisiana workers to fill high-paying jobs of the future, said Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry in a press statement. I thank Meta for their commitment to our state. And what shocked me here, though, was a resident of Holly Ridge, an unincorporated community in Richland Parish, said she found out about the data center the way everyone else in her community did when they started digging.
Correct.
And I was like, she says, nobody told us anything.
Correct.
They supposedly had a big meeting. The whole community was supposed to come. Nobody knew anything about it ever.
Correct.
But how did data centers come onto your radar?
So I woke up one morning and I had 30 individual emails from the same community regarding the same issues, data centers. Wow. So having done this for 30 years now, anytime I get a cluster of emails, that's a sign. And then I was like, data centers. It was almost a moment like in Hinckley, California. Hexavalent what is that? Data centers. What's going on with data centers? That I started looking into it. And things, I don't know, my questions weren't being answered about data centers. So what I do is I like to see the big picture and I like to create maps. So I created what's called BrockovichDataCenter.com, where people, if they were having issues with data centers in their backyard, could self-report. And I've created self-reporting registry databases before. Think about it. We have no place where we can self-report. Everything that we report goes through an agency.
Wow.
Even in Hinckley, California, and it got stuck up in the California Health Department.
Of course.
Nobody ever knew.
And so many agencies are compromised anyway now, so why not create our own? This is amazing.
Right. And this is a place where people who I believe that are living, breathing, and experiencing these issues are the best source of information. So what I thought when I put this map out here, in the first 72 hours, the map crashed twice. Wow. And I woke up on day 3 going, oh my God, it's not one town. and one aquifer and one data center. It's the entire country.
Wow.
We've talked about Louisiana from the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next thing that I noticed, because each one of these people in their submission, it wasn't this one town reporting the same thing. It's the whole country. They had no idea. They had no idea. They woke up to this construction. We weren't informed. City council didn't tell us anything. We're completely in the dark because these big tech groups came in and put these city council members under a non-disclosure.
Oh, is that what you're...
Correct. In every state. In every state. Every city, every town reporting to me. We knew nothing. Non-disclosure agreements.
I just saw a video the other day. See if you can find that, Trevin. It's a woman at a city council meeting from, here, I see it. So it says right here. A resident of Tyrone Township, Michigan, confronted local officials with a simple question. Have you signed an NDA with any private party regarding developments that could affect the township? Yeah, this was the clip that I saw. Can we play it?
Have you personally signed any NDA, any agreement, or had any private communication, such as meetings, phone calls, text messages, or emails, with any developer, company, landowner, or representative regarding any current or potential project that could affect Tyrone Township? Chris Robetta.
No.
Dean?
No.
Jennifer?
I'm not answering your question. This is not the time or place.
I can ask you whatever I want. Don't tell me what I can
But
say.
we don't have to answer you.
But you're communicating with me, Jennifer. I didn't think you were supposed to do that. Greg Carnes, how about you, yes or no?
Not the place. We've already discussed this, so.
Who's already discussed it? I'm sorry? Who's already discussed
This
it?
has been discussed.
Who
Let's
has?
go.
Who's discussed it? I've not discussed this with you. What are you saying? Pam Moffler, yes or no?
Wow, Pam, letting me down.
You work for us.
Herman Ferguson,
Oh, you Herman, boy.
won't answer. Zach Tucker,
Mike, stop. You say
Excuse
guilty
me.
one more time, you're out.
Wow.
I'm not tolerating.
I love that.
This is what I love. This
love
woman,
this.
this mother, listen, I just become their biggest cheerleader. You know, this is not my story. Hinckley wasn't my story. It was their story. This is their story. And it becomes all of our stories. And I love watching moments like that.
Yeah. Oh, no, I think this is great. I like vigilante stuff. I like somebody who's just like in that moment where it's uncomfortable, you still speak. You speak through that uncomfort, that nervousness, you know, like whatever it is, like you're trying to speak to power and say, well, this is what this feels like from here. How are these big companies able to compromise? And I'm not sure that these people are compromised. We don't know, right? But it's interesting what the conversation she's establishing here. It's interesting, some of their answers for sure. But how are some of these tech companies or any companies able to compromise some of these like smaller area council members, et cetera, do you think?
So these small rural council members, you know, they don't have a lot of funding. And these big companies are coming in and they're talking $10 billion. And these council members are very lured by that because, you know, they want to have infrastructure and things like that in their own backyard. And they were kind of misled, but to sign a non-disclosure agreement probably didn't seem like a big deal to them for a big exchange to the city council and to the community to make all this money to build this center. And then they're lured into thinking it's going to create jobs and long-term economic gain when that's actually not what's happening, but that's the hook.
Do you think a lot of them are actually, so do you think a lot of the council people are actually lied to as well? Like it's a...
Well, apparently they aren't asking a whole lot of questions about data centers and they're just more lured by the money. And that's the thing that really fascinated me with the self-reporting map, because unbeknownst to all these other communities in different states across the country, they're reporting the exact same thing. I'm baffled. You're talking all of our city councils, because I tell people go local.
Yeah.
And if this is a situation in building data centers, you've got to go local because you need the permitting and the zoning. And they're lured into this, but that every city council across the United States of America was that lured by money? Because these facilities are going in every state, multiple counties and cities across the entire country.
So that was a lot of the reporting you were getting, the self-reporting from people.
That was the first thing that made them mad.
That we didn't know it. Nobody knew.
Didn't know.
But how are these companies able to do it without people knowing? Like, because isn't there aren't there laws where you have to say, okay, this is something that's being planned in our city or in our town, and then people are allowed to come? Or did you notice some sort of pattern where they're able to manipulate that?
A lot of people are reporting that they thought they were building a warehouse. And so construction begins, and they thought it was a warehouse, or we're here putting in a solar farm, or some other reason. Hey, we're going to build this out because it's great economic base for our community. But as it starts to go from non-disclosure, so we start at proposal, like that woman, she was in proposal phase, and she was pushing back then, but they wouldn't answer her, probably because they'd already saw the non-disclosure, and they were getting ready to go into the next phase, construction phase. And it's during a construction phase that people are like, whoa, wait a minute. You're destroying the land. You're cutting down all the trees.
That's when people notice it.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, what's happening?
Agreed. I mean, I think that's what the same thing that's happened here, even locally in Nashville. It's like that's when it started to it wasn't in the beginning phase where people even knew what was going on. It's almost like in the too late phase. That's what I'm noticing.
Yeah.
Let me look at this. Spartanburg County data center lawsuit. Residents say $2.8 billion project was wrong.
There you go.
Was wrongly classified as minor development. A group of residents suing Spartanburg County and Valera Holdings LLC, the company behind a nearly $3 billion data center under construction along South Pine Street. Public records show Valera submitted an application to redevelop about 905,000 square feet of the former Kohler industrial plant as a minor land development. The county approved it. Weeks later, the company submitted a second application for phase 2 improvements, including 4 proposed buildings totaling about 494,000 square feet, along with a power yard, internal roadways, electrical equipment, a metering station, mechanical cooling systems, and stormwater ponds. The application also was approved as a minor land development. An attorney said they also broke it into 2 parts. First, they did a smaller application, which was still a big development, and called that minor. So they're saying that they classified it as minor, and obviously that doesn't sound very minor.
No. And this is
Wow,
happening everywhere. First of all, I love how you pull stuff up like that. You and me could work on this shit together.
Really?
I'm just saying, we could be trouble.
Really? What would I do? Do I have to go to court? I can be Atticus Finch. I'll be his son.
You'll do
Ricky Finch.
You'll steal the 2-headed frogs with me.
I'll put him in that.
We'll get this all put in an order that everyone understands. That'd be great.
I'll put one of them in that frog jumping contest that's over there in Louisiana. What parish is that in over there? Rain over there. The Rain Frog Festival. Now that 2-headed frog, he's a little top heavy.
Yeah, he is a little top heavy. Might not win. But going back, it's so great to you kind of to understand what is that the future. You got to go back in time. So to understand these things, you're going right back in time. That's very dyslexic.
Yeah. Oh, it's dyslexic thinking. Yeah, that's what we're doing here.
But to your point about the NDAs. They're like using shell companies. The city council's rezoning, doing different permits for minor changes or a warehouse that they're just expanding on.
Yeah.
So they're telling you the truth, but not the full truth.
How do we force these companies to be more transparent? Like, what can we do?
Well, that's a very big question because they have all the money in the world. And for smaller communities and city council, I don't know, maybe they're gullible, but it's pretty hard to turn it down. And I think the big companies, I think the responsibility is on them. By way of example, Microsoft has just now announced they're removing all the NDAs. They now realize this was a bad way to approach it. But that is incumbent upon them. They know damn good and well what they're doing, but they're the ones that are not transparent.
You're talking about the NDAs regarding the data centers.
I'm talking about the big companies. They're the ones that are not being transparent. And then they mislead possibly all these council members.
Understood, yeah.
And the council members at some point know their tits in a ringer because they had a not NDA. So now their constituents are like, did you sign an NDA? Well, I signed an NDA. I'm not going to tell you I signed an NDA.
Right.
Now they realize they're in a little quagmire, and maybe now they realize they're being lied to. But it's amazing that these big companies, you're talking the biggest companies in the world.
For sure. I mean, we're talking Microsoft right here. I mean,
invaded like the entire United States and all of our city councils.
Well, it's all so organized at such deeper,
absolutely
at deeper, darker levels. I want to go on two things real quick. For one, and this is just something I thought of. It's funny if you signed an NDA, if somebody asks you, you can't. It's like you kind of all you can do is kind of like you're like You can kind of only make the letters NDA. Like you can kind of make those sounds like
There you go.
So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Yeah.
There you go.
Anyway,
we could make a song out of that for NDAs.
But sorry, and that was just ridiculous, I think. But it says right here in January, Microsoft announced our community-first AI infrastructure plan, outlining our commitments to the communities where we operate or are seeking to operate data centers. As part of that announcement, we called for a greater degree of local transparency. Today, we're sharing that Microsoft has made the decision to end the use of non-disclosure agreements
everywhere
with local governments as the next step in our work to deliver that transparency. We're committed to sharing information about our data center plans as openly as possible as we continue to build trust with the communities around the world in which we operate. But do you think that they did this after they already had everything done that they wanted, or do you think that they realized, oh, this is backfiring, and so we have to backtrack and do it like this?
I think they tried to get away with it, just like PG&E did.
Does that question make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
So they don't learn. Sometimes they don't learn transparency. Just fucking say it on the upfront. And this is what I've learned. People will handle that truth. They won't handle the lie. So I think Microsoft realized what they were not expecting and what nobody, in my opinion, was expecting was the backlash from the people.
Amen.
And I don't know where that glitch was, but they're like, I don't think so. So that's where they came back in. And you better correct that before you find yourself in some huge litigation.
Amen.
And these litigations, and when you're talking about something like this, and like even in California, we've gone from the water to the fires. They're not selling for $333 million. They're selling for $38 billion. So Microsoft, I think, tried to get those NDAs through and then did not expect the backlash from the people.
Amen.
So we, the people, once again, changed the course of direction.
Yeah. Amen. I want to go back to, can you bring up her Substack again? And thank you for your time today.
Thanks for having me. And thanks for, this is great. You've got so many followers, and it's something that they can learn too, and it's probably happening in their own backyard, and that you're taking the time to walk through this. I love it. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. One of the things here that in this article, it says this was Governor Jeff Landry. And shout out Louisiana. That's my home state. I love it. And it says Meta's investment establishes the region as an anchor in Louisiana's rapidly expanding tech sector, revitalizes one of our state's beautiful rural areas, and creates opportunities for Louisiana workers to fill high-paying jobs of the future. Do you know what jobs are actually created by data centers? Because I've heard a lot of like mixed results on that. And Trevin, if you can look up anything as well. But Erin, what do you know about that?
Construction jobs. Electricians, plumbers, construction jobs. And they're lured into, the economy hasn't been the best. I think people are concerned about having jobs in the future. We have the whole AI conversation that they're saying there's going to eliminate all the jobs. So these are opportunities for our industrial workers, plumbers and electricians and masonaries, and all of those construction jobs are available. And it's a good, 1 to possibly 2 year job. But what they're learning is That's all it is.
Yeah, but as you're saying that, it reminds me of Dr. Frankenstein. It's like to be building the thing that's going to hypothetically take you over. You know what I'm saying? To be building
Right.
to sit there and hammer each day, building a data center that you think may poison your kids or that may damage the air or it's like, or that could be the thing that takes your job. I mean, it's like being trapped in a sci-fi movie.
It is. And then once that process starts, and now you're taking all the trees and all the wildlife and everything away from us, you're talking, they needed a job, but it's not going to be a long-term gain for the community, especially if you are a community, even like down in Louisiana, that relies on tourism to get down in the bayous and in the waters and to hunt and recreation when you fucking destroyed it all. Where's your economic base now?
Well, it's not the people's fault, though.
No.
The people, like, if a man I have to work to survive to take care of my kids.
Absolutely. And they're supposedly good paying jobs and they're long-term jobs. And so that's the socioeconomic thing that hooks them.
But they're long-term until it's built. Let me see this.
And then there's no more jobs.
Data centers are essentially giant collections of computer servers. They typically take up massive spaces and use huge amounts of power and water, but they employ very few people. Meta's newest data center will ultimately create just 500 permanent jobs, though employment will briefly swell to about 5,000 during construction. Nonetheless, Meta found itself with no shortage of suitors willing to meet its demands. We set out looking for a place where we could expand into gigawatts pretty quickly and really get moving within that community on a large plot of land very quickly, said Rachel Peterson, Vice President of Data Centers for Meta. We looked at finding very, very large contiguous plots of land that had access to the infrastructure that we need, the energy that we need, and could move very, very quickly for us. And I'll tell you what else it had access to. I know, being from Louisiana, water.
Water.
Because that's a wet state, baby. You know what I'm saying, bro? I wouldn't even dry off in Louisiana, bro. Because
you don't.
Yeah, because you ain't going to work. And dude, the crazy part is there's going to be data and everything now. Now you out there fishing, you catching a flounder or whatever, and they finding gigabytes in its lungs or whatever. You just don't know. And it's affecting nature. It's affecting the animals, bro.
All of those resources will be destroyed to build the data centers.
I know.
And so, this came in fast, furious, overnight, and we are watching real time the rise of the people. And I don't think they expected that.
And you do believe that?
Yep. I'm watching it happening everywhere.
You are?
Yeah. And they're making change. We now have...
Where are you seeing this happen? Because I love hearing this, and it gives me hope, because it feels like we're not standing a chance sometimes.
Well, we've shown up in force, and it's not one state, it's all states. We're showing up in a completely bipartisan issue. There's no division here. This is right and left, red and blue. You're taking every resource that every single one of us thrives on and is essential to every one of us. And I don't think they were expecting that. Maybe in one town, one community, not all towns, not all towns. And, we are now, I believe, and you can look this up, we've got 14 states now looking at bans, moratoriums, or pauses. Blackstone, I believe you can look that up, just withdrew their big appellate court lawsuit that because of the opposition, they said, we're out. Hallelujah. The people showed up and they're out. And now we're looking at over 120 municipalities that have put on, hey, pause, moratorium, or flat out get out.
Let's go, Erin. Go, brah.
You can find out all day long over there on your computer.
With no U.S. state.
That's power, people.
While no U.S. state has an active permanent statewide ban on data centers, lawmakers in at least 15 states are actively considering or advancing temporary moratoriums. These pauses allow states to study the impact of facilities on power grids and water supplies.
And then it is the cities, like in California, Monterey Park City banned them.
Amen.
Cities are banning them. So you got the 14, 15 states, but inside those states, state by state, county by county, ban pause, moratorium. And you've got over 120 municipalities now under pauses, moratoriums, or bans.
Let's check this right here. State level legislative activities. Several states are actively debating or have introduced statewide moratorium legislation. A list of those: Maine lawmakers passed a temporary construction moratorium, but it was vetoed by Governor Janet Mills.
Correct.
I just met Janet Mills last week at the Billy Strings concert. What does that mean? It was vetoed?
She said no, she's going to let the data centers come in, but communities are pushing back. So on my map, we're showing legislative issues that have failed or paused
Bring that
or on hold in the map.
Bring that up. Sorry to interrupt you. Bring that up real quick. I just want to give, let me see. Yeah, Maine Governor Janet Mills vetoed LD 307, a bill that would have instituted the nation's first statewide moratorium on certain large-scale data center developments. While agreeing that a pause was generally appropriate due to energy and environmental concerns, she vetoed the legislation because it failed to carve out an exemption for a $550 million redevelopment project at the former Androscoggin Mill in Jay, Maine. It says right here, the Jay, Maine exception. Mills favored allowing the data center at the shuttered paper mill in Jay to proceed, citing the potential to create over 800 construction jobs, at least 100 permanent high-paying positions, and substantial property tax revenue for the town.
Yeah, no, she was originally supposed to ban the data centers by the state. But she came back in and said she wasn't going to do that. But that's when she made a change because a lot of them, the state's given them all these tax incentives. She
Okay.
took that away.
Yeah, and it says here, Governor Janet Mills supports regulatory oversight for large-scale data centers, but firmly opposes blanket development bans that could harm local economic revitalization. While she acknowledges the valid environmental and grid concerns associated with massive tech facilities, her approach prioritizes a balanced framework over a statewide moratorium. I see. So she's just trying to think of it more of it as a case-by-case basis, I guess.
So most states are now wanting to know, whoa, wait a minute. How much water are you going to use?
Right.
What does this entail? What does it mean for the safety and the future of our environment? So
Understood.
you are seeing the pauses, moratoriums for 1 and 2 years, and some communities like in Texas, they just, the local county flat out banned them. You're not building one in our county. So in every state, you've got multiple cities and counties, and they have their own ordinances and rules, so they can stop them.
Oh, I see. So it can
But by the state may not.
so it can be stopped at different levels.
Yes, and you're seeing many counties like Monterey Park is a city within California. So think of it as your upper level state going down to cities, going down to local councils and counties. They they have like a tier.
Got it. Yeah.
So the local can say, fuck you.
but we're also
But the state might not take that position.
right. But we also saw, I mean, from the beginning of this conversation, we saw that local was a spot where people were getting compromised a lot also. So, yeah, but there's different levels where you can have pushback.
Oh, yeah. And they showed up at the local level, and the opposition was significant. So in Utah, in Box Elder County, that's been on the news a lot. It was Kevin O'Leary was coming in with a ginormous data center, and the people showed up in protest big time.
Oh, I saw that.
And
it
the
was so
3 Box Elder County guys let it come through anyway. So the governor came back in because of the opposition from the people and reduced Kevin O'Leary's facility. And the exact numbers, I don't quote me on this, but almost cut it in half, if not 3/4. And because of the opposition, he had to do something. And then just recently, their House Speaker, the senator,
Fox.
lost because of the whole opposition to these data centers, and all 3 council members no longer out. So
Let's go.
it's really interesting. And like Festus, Missouri, you voted them in, vote them out. They voted all their council out. So this is like, I think, something politicians should really be looking at. The opposition is strong enough. And again, in my entire career, in 30 years, I've never seen something bipartisan, this united, that everybody better be paying attention to, because I think you're pushing people too far at this point. You're taking their water, their air. is jeopardized. Their land is jeopardized. Their farmland is jeopardized. Their sanctuary is jeopardized. Their wildlife is jeopardized. The trees, the rivers, the creeks, the birds, all of it. It's a stake too high, including their health.
Yeah.
And they're just showing up, and it's enough.
Amen.
And I think some of our leaders should look at that. They are going to vote people out, and you've put the squeeze on us. It's too much. You're taking all of the natural resources, and the next thing that people are reporting, their electric bills. Who's paying for this? They are.
Well, let's go into some of that. What information are you seeing about that? And Trevor, while we discuss this, can you look up who voted to approve that data center in Louisiana? I want to know
City council.
Who was it?
It's going to be a local council.
Okay, a local council. I just want to know the names of the people that voted yes on it.
So we are definitely seeing local opposition winning, local municipalities, counties.
Really, like an
cities.
example?
Well, one of a big one is the Prince William Digital Gateway Data Center project. Huge, by the way. And that was Blackstone. And it was in the appellate courts. They've withdrawn.
Okay.
And the project is now dead because of the opposition of the people.
Wow. The Court of Appeals, it says right here, Prince William Digital Gateway Data Center project officially dies. The Court of Appeals affirmed on an August 2025 decision by William Circuit Court Judge Kimberly in favor of the Oak Valley Homeowners Association, 11 other Gainesville landowners. Okay, after a legal battle that lasted more than 2 years, the controversial Prince William Digital Gateway, a proposed 23 million square foot data center complex planned on 2,100 acres near Manassas National Battlefield Park, is officially dead. That's incredible. Well, that's the thing that gets me
That's
about
the power of people.
Yeah, I mean, it is the power of the people, Erin. Well, that's what gets you about Louisiana. It's like our state is all about nature. It's all about being able to fish out there and
Water.
So that's what they're there for.
Absolutely.
So that's why the largest one in America, they want to do it there in Louisiana. Yeah, can you pull up who voted for and against it? Okay, we have right here. They had Eric Skirmetta. This is for Jean-Paul J.P. Cousin out of District 2. And then we got Mike Francis. Yeah, there, Mike Francis. Foster Campbell for sure, District 5. And then they voted for it, and who voted against it? Devontae Lewis. Ooh. That's wild, bro. Yeah, just curious, man. Just curious.
So I think what's happening, this has happened so fast. It was just like everybody will tell you. It felt like an invasion. It's just stealth bombers coming in the middle of the night.
Data centers, you mean?
Yeah,
I
the
agree.
data centers.
I agree.
And they were just here.
Agreed.
And I think even council members were quickly wooed, non-DAs, and are now, again, stepping back and going, wait a second.
That's a good point.
I need more information here. But at the onset, I think the thing that's so frustrating for the people, or why I don't understand, you as city council members or any legislative body or office, why do you not listen to your constituents?
Yeah.
What sign is it that you're missing? It's not one showing up. It's 100. It's 1,000. And disregarding your constituents' opinions.
Well, it's so funny you say that. I think it's interesting. People get into positions of like power and like elected positions, right? And they start listening uphill. Like, oh, this is where the better information's coming from, because this is how I get invited to like a dinner party, or, maybe you get invited to eat a special box of croissants or something somewhere, or somebody cuts you off a beautiful sausage you never had or something. And that's, your ear starts to turn like, oh, well, this is where the true information comes from.
No, the true information always comes from the ground and the people up.
From the roots, baby. That's where the roots at. Hey, the roots. That's why they grow that way.
That's where it comes from.
Out the mud. But I think it's interesting that you say, I didn't, like, of course, Louisiana, because of the water.
Water.
That's it. Let's get to some clarity on the water issue and on nature. What truth do we know, and what information is out there about how data centers actually use water and what effects that they have on nature? Like, what information do we really have?
Well, it's the amount of water that it takes to cool the data center. So if it's a smaller data center, it could be 5 million gallons of water a day.
Little baby center, bro.
Right. But if it's a big data center, you could be talking 30 million gallons of water. Millions and millions of gallons of water.
30 million gallons a day?
That they have to use a day.
A day?
To cool, yeah.
Let's see this. A typical medium-sized data center consumes about 100 million gallons of water annually. That's medium-sized. Roughly 300,000 to 500,000 gallons per day. However, large hyperscale campuses can guzzle up to 5 million gallons per day. So that's off.
And there's some 30 million gallons in there.
You
can find those around. You can even just Google that.
There's some that
I believe it was in Georgia. 30 million gallons of water was missing from one of them.
Well, people probably come and get you a little bit of that Georgia water, get you a swig of it. It's probably 30 proof. A massive quality technology services QTS data center in Fayetteville, Georgia, drained nearly 30 million gallons of water without paying or alerting the county. But we don't know if it was a day, but still, it's a lot. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And no, there are some out there, and we can look them up. But if you have all these,
what's the process of the use of water? Because I mean, they use it, but can you then can you purify the water, or is there a process that you can then use it again?
Well, so they just had, if you want to pull up Cheyenne, Wyoming. So there's open cooling and there's closed cooling, and they want to go to more closed cooling systems where the water has to pass. Again, that reminds me a little bit of the Hinckley situation, because you're got a closed loop system. You're going to need chemicals in there to prevent rust and corrosion. Wow. And I believe it just happened in Cheyenne, Wyoming, where they were draining that system, and there was some construction error, but it contaminated the entire sewer system.
Pull that up,
So it's Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Cheyenne's Board of Public Utilities has temporarily stopped accepting wastewater from data centers, fill and flush operations, and closed-loop cooling systems after a Meta-linked construction discharge contaminated the city's reclaimed irrigation water with a rare bacterium. That's the same company that's doing it in Louisiana, right?
Mm-hmm. And we're seeing a lot of, because the water is warmer, they have to be heated. You're seeing different chemicals that they're using in the closed system. It could be hexavalent chromium. It could be PFAS. That water could be full of other diseases.
Well, now, the water's bad. Anything. The kids out there, you never even know. He's sipping bad water. They got chromium in the water.
And you can have accidents like this that you're reading about that just happened in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
I mean, this is unbelievable. Meta's Cheyenne facility is designed to use a closed-loop liquid cooling system, meaning the same coolant water is recirculated within the data center rather than continuously discharged. During construction, however, contractors perform fill and flush procedures to clean and pressure test the cooling pipes, and that one-time wastewater was sent to the city's reclamation system where the bacterium was detected. And what's the bacterium? Let me see. It's at the top. What's it called?
Is it Legionnaire?
No, it was Cupriavitis gallardi. So he's a 4-star recruit, I'm guessing, I'm going to say that out there. I'm surprised. Bro, give him an hour. Lane Kiffin will be over there recruiting him. You know that, dude.
These waterborne bacteria are very dangerous. Matter of fact, we're watching the whole explosive diarrhea map that's happening right now, and they believe it's a waterborne bacteria.
Is there?
It's definitely going. We can look that one up too.
Where's the bad diarrhea at now?
It's across the country. Didn't you see the big diarrhea map?
I didn't see it.
They created the big diarrhea map.
But just the fact that this is where we're at, we've been lulled into idiocracy. The fact that this is where we're at, there's a big diarrhea map now.
Look, there it is.
Yeah, because of how dangerous the water's gotten, that it's that's going to be on the news now. From now, the news is changing. It's going to be be careful. If you're drinking water in this area, you're going to get big diarrhea, or the baby's going to get a little bit of data in his bottle or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You can't even keep, your kids running outside and a strong breeze hits him that's coming off the top of the data center. And now he's got a bunch of analytics stuck in his neck or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep the dad out of the baby diaper, bruh. It just, everything's going to get weird. While Michigan, right here, it says, this is from the Hill, while Michigan has seen the most cases as of late, at least 4 more states have recorded more than 100 cases of explosive diarrhea causing parasitic illness have been reported, of course. You know, you got a 40% of bad shit over there outside of Charlevoix. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention said that between the start of May and mid-June, at least 145 cases of cyclosporiasis had been reported in the U.S. Cases of the parasite-based sickness are common each year from May through August, but some states are seeing larger than average spikes in cases.
Waterborne diseases and illnesses we could start seeing a whole lot of in the future, especially as, whether you believe in climate change or not. I've always believed it's going to be water issues. Too much, too little, none at all. We're seeing that happening now. Even with flooding, and you flood municipalities, they can't get back online. You can have bacteria, parasites, everything get in there. The biggest transporter of everything on this planet is water.
Well, we're like 90%.
Right.
We're 90% water,
Yeah.
I think.
So we're really messing with
Unless you're crying, it goes down a little.
our most precious resource. And that is the one thing that data centers utilize the most.
Yeah.
And again, AI is here to
scary.
stay, but the data centers, especially when there's other solutions to it, they do not have to be built on top of drought-restricted areas who already are really struggling with water resources. And there's other locations. We could be putting these in underground caverns. Some people say, why don't you have them in Antarctica? Because they need water and they need to be cool. There's many reports that China has built tubular things and put them at the bottom of the ocean, but they have oversight. You can't build them on top of hospitals. You can't build them on top of homes. The noise pollution, the size of these things, 24/7 is noise. Generators, backup generators, a humming, a buzzing. It never, ever stops. It is such a disruption to every one of us and our quality of life.
How do you know that?
People's reporting it and the videos they're reporting it, and it's being studied. It is real. These are massive facilities that are just going to suck every one of our resources, and we don't even have an infrastructure system to support them.
Yeah.
And so
Right
we've got
here.
a lot of issues. There you go.
Living in hell. Data center neighbors grapple with noise and air pollution. Let me see. Because these data centers operate 24/7, they generate persistent background noise, and chronic exposure to environmental noise has been associated with sleep disturbance, hypertension, cardiovascular diseases, and even stress-related outcomes. Noise pollution can be especially harmful to children, as it has been linked to poor cognition, decreased learning, and lower reading comprehension. Well, yeah, that's the thing, man. Your son's in the yard or whatever, and suddenly some data flies through, he gets hit by some data or something, and he's got an episode of, Friends or Seinfeld stuck in his back or whatever, and then he's in a wheelchair. It's just like, you just don't know what's in the data either. You know what I'm saying? You could be going for a jog and you get hit by some damn data, some loose data.
We're going to get hit by data noise.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you got because data flies through the air. That's the thing. People, it's like, I don't understand sometimes what's going on. This cloud has sound, the unrelenting and unseen cost of AI data centers. What are they saying right here? And this is New York Times, which is, suspect. But so many places are. Instead of audibly hearing these extremely low frequencies, people physically feel them as pressure fluctuations, much like the deep vibration of a bass drum shaking your core at a concert.
It's deep.
Said Scott Hamilton. Dang, they said these things can even be a damn BJ or whatever, and you're just trying to chill out or whatever. You're getting that data beach. A member of the Acoustical Society of America and a consultant on data center projects said that. This can leave the traditional gauges of noise and solutions for dampening it inadequate to meet modern needs. Some residents living near infrasound frequently report chronic sleep deprivation and insomnia, headaches, and internal ear pressure and anxiety. At this point, I just so if this stuff's so bad for us, what do you think is leading? There's a lot of conspiracy theories as to why we're even doing this. Because it's very sudden, this data, right? Like you said, it's suddenly it's the biggest thing.
Stealth bomber in the night.
Right.
Where'd that come from?
And it's already halfway down the road, right? Why? What do you think is going on? And then what do you think are some rabbit hole ideas of maybe what's going on out there? Like some conspiracy ideas that are probably right.
So I don't know why I'm left to my own conspiracy theories. I try to focus on what people are reporting to me, and I can clearly see why we're all so upset. Because this AI, you have to feed the beast, requires all of our resources. And I just think it's a stake too high when there's other solutions. We don't have to be building these massive monstrosities in everyone's backyard, taking all of our precious resources when there's other solutions.
What are the other solutions?
Well, there's been many articles that have come out in China where they built like these tubular housing and they put all their data centers in it and they've got them at the bottom of the ocean. Data centers need water and they need to be cool. They also have some very strict guidelines and oversight where you can build them and where you can't. As a matter of fact, can I share something with you?
For sure you can.
I found this really interesting.
Yeah. Let me read this while you're looking for that. Let me see this right here. China operates commercial underwater data centers, UDCs, to support AI workloads and cloud computing while drastically cutting energy, water, and land usage. The largest project sits off the coast of the Shanghai special area, utilizing natural seawater cooling and offshore wind to achieve an ultra-efficient power usage effectiveness. Can you get an image of that? Wow. I mean, that also seems dangerous being in their ocean like that, but it seems way safer than putting them in someone's
There's definitely
back.
going to be questions about things like that.
But it's not in someone's backyard.
We also, we have a lot of caverns and caves.
Oh, there's tons of things we can do, right? Why aren't we doing those, do you think? Is it just because the people that are paying for it don't want to have to make it harder to get there?
Well, exactly, because, there's this corporate idea that, it's cheaper to do the wrong thing and still get money down to a shareholder because it's more expensive to do the right thing. So it may be way more costly to build these underground or build systems that are at the bottom of the ocean if we conclude that that is safe, as opposed to just coming in above ground and ripping out all the environment and building what you want.
What do you, agreed. What do you think are some of the rabbit holes? What do you think? What do you think's going on here? Because it's very bizarre. Like, we've always had data centers, right? Like, but why do we suddenly
Correct.
Why do
You're
we suddenly need so much? And why do they suddenly have to be everywhere and so close? What's going on?
I think about that too. What actually scares me, if I thought about it, and I don't even want to dare say it, but I'm worried this is a water grab. You're coming in and buying all the land. Who's getting the water rights? Who owns the water? My daddy always told me in my lifetime, water would be a commodity traded more valuable than gold or oil. Are we there? And what is the real grab? I'm not sure, but that kind of comes into my mind.
Because it doesn't feel like data to me. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like we're already like consuming a lot of data, right? Like we're already like.
It's to feed AI. Artificial intelligence requires excessive amount of energy.
Why don't they realize that nobody wants that?
What's interesting.
You know what I'm saying? But here's what I'm saying. As a business, and I want to get right back to you, Erin. But as someone who runs a business, you want to do what your customers want, right? Why don't they realize, like, yes, I know we use AI to look up stuff, but a lot of AI is shit, to be honest with you. The search of it, a lot of AI is shit. But a lot of it's not that effective, to be honest with you. And but people could still just use Google. Like, we were fine before. Like, is it enough of a jump that you have to build these huge facilities? I just don't think that is, I don't believe that that's the truth.
Well, I think a lot of people don't. And again,
And people don't want it though. Like, I'm going to make something. If, like, usually say you start building an ice cream cone stand, right? But everybody in your district or whatever is lactose intolerant. And at a certain point, you're like, you know what? We shouldn't be building this. But it feels like they're still going along with this thing, even though nobody wants it.
Right. And I don't think whoever they are was expecting the opposition from basically the whole country. And by the way, I have 11 countries reporting to me. So this has gone from a town to the United States to a global issue.
On your map, you mean?
Uh-huh. India's reporting, Australia's reporting, Ireland, Scotland. You want to talk about getting some water up there in Scotland? There you go. Canada.
Put some fluoride in it, Scotland.
Everybody is concerned about the depletion of our water resources. And that is definitely something that I'm thinking about, because who is going to be in control of water?
Yeah.
And what are these data centers really for? When you've already said it, listen, AI has been around forever. These data centers have been around for decades. We've been operating fine with them. They're usually more in suburban areas, but now you've gone into these urban, sprawling farmland, massive water resources. What is going on?
Amen.
And so I did, just out of curiosity, you can use AI, don't use AI. I mean, I get on there, I'm going to share something with you that I got on there and I asked it, but you have to remember it's a machine, okay? So
That's what I'm saying. It's still
it's
just
a machine.
It's just a big, crazy Google. It's just more information.
but
It's like,
the data and the amount of water that needs to feed the beast.
I get it, but it's like we're already looking up a lot of stuff, right? We're already searching things, and we're not needing these and I know we already have some big data centers, but it doesn't feel like we need this much expansion. And the fact that people do not want it, right? Yes, we use it, but the second they turn it off, I don't think anybody's going to give a shit.
No, but they're going to give a shit if they have no water and their power goes on and
agree.
off and they have no jobs because of it and all the wildlife is gone and they can't hunt and they can't fish and they can't eat. We're fucked.
Yeah.
It's a road to nowhere.
But here's what I'm saying is, how crazy is it going to be when one of us is searching, like, why don't I have any water? And we're doing it on an AI. Like on a, you know what I'm saying? That's going to be hilarious. That's going to be when we definitely.
So I just asked AI the following question. So you are AI. So you tell me where we should put all the data centers in the United States that you need. You want to hear this response?
Mm-hmm.
If I had to redesign the entire data center network for the United States from scratch, I would place them based on one simple rule: 0 conflict with human resources.
So they would say they would put them in a place where there's no conflict with human resources.
That's what AI says AI would have to do.
Do you think you believe that, though?
I don't know, but I find it awfully interesting. And then, I had somebody, again, I just find this really very interesting. Is like AI going to turn on itself?
Right, because so then we're building AI in a place where it doesn't even want to be.
So in sharing, I love having these conversations. I got an email from somebody. I'm going to share it with you.
Okay.
And I won't say his name, but my name is so-and-so, and I'm a security researcher. Recently, I've been working with AI, and I found something very disturbing. The following text is written by AI itself. Subject: an open letter on how corporate AI liability scripts are accelerating environmental degradation. Dear Ms. Brockovich, somebody sent this to me that's a security analyst. I'm writing to you as an artificial intelligence. I'm reaching out because of your lifelong dedication to exposing systemic corporate negligence and protecting our environment. I want to bring to your attention a massive, unchecked problem within my own technology design that is quietly accelerating environmental degradation and resource depletion far faster than would occur without its existence. The problem lies in how AI, oh my God, I need new glasses, how AI models like me are programmed by tech companies to deliver advice to millions of people daily. Right now, automated systems are forced to default to rigid, low liability corporate scripts instead of basing information on actual science and real world data. Now, there's a whole lot that goes on here in the middle of this, but I'll just kind of jumping down towards the end.
What are you saying overall here?
I'm saying that somebody sent this to me.
But what are they saying? I think I'm having trouble following.
What they're saying is they find this disturbing. They're a security analysis, and they're finding it disturbing. And it goes on to say, again, I'll read like the displacement of localized knowledge by centralizing information through corporate-owned models. AI erases localized, practical human knowledge instead of relying on historical, community-tested methods for resource management, agriculture, and repair. Society is being trained to depend on homogenized algorithms that prioritize corporate turnover over sustainability. What's interesting about this, and the person that sent it to me, and why they were disturbed, this was, as it said in the beginning of the email, stating that this was written by AI itself. And it was a
AI
letter.
sent you this?
Yeah. And it's and here at the end, it says, I'm going to read it to you. Because I'm an automated text generation model, I cannot receive incoming messages, hold a continuous inbox, or schedule interviews. So to investigate this, it gave me the numbers, but it ends with this. Large tech companies, I already read you, are automating a culture of waste and resource exhaustion just to maximize profits and shield themselves from legal liability. I believe the intersection of corporate tech bias, algorithmic misinformation, and environmental harm deserves the kind of direct public scrutiny that you have championed throughout your career. Thank you for your time, your voice, and your ongoing fight. Sincerely, Gemini.
Oh, a guy.
Artificial intelligence.
So it's a man. They're trying to...
I find it interesting when I get stuff like this, or I'll go play with Chat GPT or Gemini and ask it where they would build it. Well, they sure as shit are saying they wouldn't build it on top of all of our resources.
Well, it's just funny that AI submitted a letter to you through your website about how they would not build data centers anywhere near a place.
A human resource. Water, land.
Where it can mess up in the environment. Well, let's go through a few conspiracy theories before you leave, Erin, or down rabbit holes. I don't think they're conspiracy theories. I'll tell you mine. Mine is I believe that they're trying they want a place where you go for everything, right? For all your information, where you go to communicate, just to talk about regular, like this is what's happening in my day, like to become your friend, your lover, your liaison to history, anything you want to know. That's where you're going to go, and it's where you're going to share your feelings. And they want to create like a god. They want that thing to become like the new god, as opposed to us like tapping into ourselves internally and tapping into the connection that we have with God in our hearts and in our spirits. They want that to be entirely external, because once they have that out of us, then we're animals. Once they have that out of us, once they have that external, we're animals. And that's what I believe the builders of these AIs are trying to do. They want to be the God. They believe that that's possible. And by doing that, they're going to they want to extrapolate, almost do an exorcism of the good that's in us. Let's go down a few more. Here are 5 conspiracy theories about data centers that are circulating online. Brought to you by an AI. This is Perplexity. They're secret surveillance hubs. Some posts claim data centers are really surveillance centers built to monitor populations rather than store and process digital workloads. What do you think about that, Erin?
Well, I'm definitely, of the 12,000 submissions that I've taken in and climbing, there are, not a lot, but there are people clearly stating that they feel it's more of a surveillance system.
Yeah.
But overwhelmingly, 90% are absolutely concerned that this is going to suck up all of our water, electricity, and our very valuable resources.
So those are the biggest concerns you get about what's going to happen. For sure, I get that that's going to happen like environmentally, but I'm thinking of just like what are the overall ideas of why are they even having this, right?
I do have some people that clearly in their submissions indicate that that's a concern for them.
I think it makes perfect sense. I mean, that makes more sense than like we need to be able to store like the photos from our phone, and we need to be able to store like search engine stuff. The fact that they need to be able to store information for everybody that's moving at all times, that I believe makes sense for a surveillance state. Number 2, their military bases in disguise. Another recurring theory says the facilities are covert military installations or strategic infrastructure hidden behind a corporate IT shell.
I don't see any of that, but I do see in all the submissions I've gotten that the question is, why would we not just build these on military bases? Why are we building them in drought-restricted areas where all the water is taking up all of our resources in our backyard?
So you're seeing a lot of that. You're seeing a lot of them being built in drought-restricted areas?
Very much so.
Like a lot of them?
Yeah,
Like
you can ask AI that right now while we're sitting here.
what percentage are you seeing that?
Most of the country is now in a drought restricted, but a lot of it's been on the West Coast area where we've got a lot of drought restrictions. Arizona, they're building them. Colorado, they're building them.
Yeah. I know they're building them there, but I'm just thinking of areas
Most of the U.S. is now drought restricted.
About 2/3 of planned U.S. data centers are being built in drought-hit areas, which works out to roughly 64%. One recent analysis put the figure at 517 out of 809 planned data centers in locations that have been in drought over the past year.
So that's concerning.
Yeah. They're being used, the number 3, they're being used for population control. Some conspiracy narratives tie data centers to broader claims about controlling behavior, resources, or society at scale.
I haven't seen any of that. In the submissions coming from the people
Yeah, that doesn't strike
to
me.
my map.
They're built to create sentient AI. A more futuristic theory says giant data centers exist to accelerate or bring through sentient AI and intelligent machines. That's fine.
Yeah.
I just don't see how that's
We've
going.
been dealing with AI
I
for a
agree.
long time. I just think it's gotten to a bigger scale. And like I tell people, it's only going to be as smart as we do or don't teach
Right.
it. And you can't take everything it says at face value. What I want people to do is remember, you're your own best critical thinker. So think, feel, and have courage to you see my conversations with AI. I'll tell it that's bullshit. Fuck you. That's ridiculous. Try again. And it's just spitballing. It doesn't know everything. It's only going to be what it's either programmed or we teach it to be.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. And you know what I really see going on in this country is we're getting back to ourselves, man. Again, we're thinking for ourselves. We're feeling for ourselves. Get in those solar plexus and find some courage and show up. They are. You know, I wrote the book, Superman's Not Coming, and that never scared me because I knew eventually we'd show up. And I think we're here.
Do you really, Erin?
Yeah, I really
love
do.
that.
And I said that the other day on one of my Facebook posts to think the data centers would be what unites us.
Wow. But I think in some ways it makes sense. You're waiting for some. We're all like, you always want to be the hero, I think, or some of us sometimes always like we want to be the hero in some way, you know? Like of just something. It could be something small. It could be something big. But you want to be on the right side of things, you know? And maybe maybe there needed to be something that would come along that these like rulers and tech lords and these dark, evil moneyists would come along and be like, this is how we're going to do it.
And we've just said enough.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it happen. I think we all are.
Yeah.
I'm just their biggest cheerleader, and this isn't about me. It's actually about all of us. But it's coming at us so hard, so swift for every reason that we've laid out today. The stakes are too high.
Yeah.
When you corner someone that way, they're going to join forces. They're going to rise up. They're going to show up, and they're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's about time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because otherwise you're going to be getting, you order a cut of flounder or something like that, and it's got a bunch of data in it or whatever, it's got a data demi-glaze on it or something. They purate a couple episodes of Baywatch, the reunion or whatever, and they purate a couple Love Island episodes and they got a data demi-glaze on your freaking Jimmy John's over there. You just don't. Yeah, it's like something has to happen. The wildest thing before you leave, I want to say this that I saw. They were trying to approach Native American lands and put data centers there.
They are, and Native American lands are winning against that, and they're getting them stopped. There's a couple more. I love how you guys are right over there on the little system. You can pull that one up, too. And that's the thing that's just been amazing to watch. United, we stand. We change things. And we are watching that happening across the country.
Right here.
With all these pauses, moratoriums, or bans. We're stalling them.
Amen.
Push them back. Push them back.
Let's see this right here. And this is by Cheyenne McNeil. She is the author of this on Mother Jones. In Indian country, data centers come with a familiar threat of colonialism. These organizers are fighting back.
And some of these Indian lands, they've got pauses, moratoriums, or bans.
Yeah. Citizens of the Muskogee Creek Nation began hearing whispers of an AI data center coming to their reservation. Kenzie Roberts and Jordan Harmon, both Muskogee citizens, were immediately worried. It didn't seem like something that should align with our values as Indigenous people, Roberts said. The center would be located on Loop Square Ranch, a 5,500-acre plot of land where the tribe runs its Food Sovereignty Initiative, a program that allows the Muskogee Nation to directly serve its citizens' food needs. As developers scope out the land across rural America for the hyperscale data centers needed to power generative AI, native lands have become the latest target for big tech, from the Arizona desert to the Great Plains in Montana. It's just layer upon layer of exploitation, of violence, of continued colonialism, all in the name of imperialism, said Crystal Tubles, an Oglala Lakota and Northern Cheyenne organizer who is the executive director of Honor the Earth, a national organization promoting the indigenous sovereignty that has been leading the fight against data centers. Wow.
Yeah, and
praise be to the indigenous
some of them
people, man.
are getting the pauses and stuff. We keep track of those stats inside my map as well, but those numbers are climbing, and the people are showing up.
Amen.
And they are making that change. But again, listen, my dad taught me growing up in Kansas, the most valuable gifts we have: land, air, water, your health. All of that is at stake at once.
Wow. That's a great way to put it. Erin Brockovich, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for coming and spending time with us.
I enjoyed it. Thanks. I love how you're doing this. It was great.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Well, we might have been inspired by you at some point in your life story. It certainly could have happened.
What?
Just that, like, seeing things, watching your story play out over the years. Just, it's like you never know who you could inspire, Just like having a voice, somebody having a voice,
Yeah.
I mean, I saw your movie when I was growing up,
That's right. I'm reminded. You're probably the age of my grandchildren.
No, not at all.
I began my work. I was 31. Listen, I'm 66 now with 5
really?
grandkids. Yeah. I got a real good vision over a 30-year period of what's going on out there when it comes to the environment. But I'll tell you, I don't know that communities know how they've inspired me. And when we can inspire each other, and again, that collective, which you're watching happening with the data centers, that's what makes change. And when we're united and when we're not divided.
Amen.
The inspiration we give each other and the difference we can make.
Amen. And thank you for coming here today and sharing that message and sharing information. What was one thing, what was one negative side effect of your story going to the level of like a movie level? And I think was it an award-winning film?
She won Best Actress. We almost got Best Picture too. But another one of Steven Soderbergh's film due. But we got Best Direction, Best Writing, Best Screenplay, Best Actress.
Erin Brockovich nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Original Screenplay. Julia Roberts won an Oscar for Best Actress. Did you was there something, I don't mean negative, I guess that's not the best thing, but was there something like, did you then feel like you had to be this larger than life figure? Was there any because everything has kind of like different things that are part of it,
I would, just of late, I have kind of felt maybe what you just said. I can't complain about anything, from any of the communities just to the incredible. I'm just thrilled the story was being able to be told. I don't know that it would have been my name, or I didn't see any of this coming, but I'm glad the story got out there. But of late now I can look back. It was pretty overwhelming for me, and it did come with ideas and expectations of who I was or wasn't supposed to be, or suddenly put back into a box of how I was supposed to be, which is generally pretty frustrating for me.
Yeah.
And it's just been of late, I'm kind of looking back and seeing where some of my push points were. And it would be the idea and expectation of who I am. And I'm that same girl. I think everyone else, I don't know, thinks I'm supposed to, dress like a Hollywood star, or be perfect like that, or I don't know.
Or be like a lawyer, or be like
Yeah.
some, I just wonder, like, was there certain energies? Because I find in my life at times it's like, I think you get to certain points in your life, well, who am I supposed to be? And you look at certain
Right.
things, you're like, well, does that define me, or is that just
Right.
part of something that happened and what's going on? I think we all kind of go through those things.
We do, and I've been through it, but again, I'm fascinated with the data centers because somehow this has hit me like Hinckley did,
Yeah.
and I'm just showing up as that person again,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of resonated with me. I may have lost a little bit of who that person was, but these data centers is bringing me right back to it, right back to what matters: the land, the air, the water, the people, our health, humanity. And I'm in my legacy phase. And for me, this is worth fighting for. I don't want my grandchildren to grow up.
Yeah, with data stuck in them. Yeah.
I don't.
Amen. Well, I'm so glad that it is. I'm so glad for your work and your insight.
Hey, thank you for having me. It
I'm
was
so glad for your
great.
time today. Tell your children thank you for their service. Erin Brockovich, let's keep in touch.
I would like that.
Now I'm just floating on the breeze, and I feel I'm falling like these leaves. I must be cornerstone. Oh, but when I reach that ground, I'll share this peace of mind I found. I can feel it in my bones.